So everything is coming from home. It's coming from home training. The training is supposed to come from home. So this is how they raising up their kids, and they don't have any respect for adults.
Yeah,
And they took it out of the schools.
Mhm.
As a kid going to school.
yeah.
We used to pray. And that kept everything at bay. And you knew that that teacher or whoever the person was that was in that schoolhouse, they went to that church. You know, and so
Mhm.
everybody knew it.
Yeah.
It kept everybody in line.
Yeah.
But now, like she was just saying, these kids ain't got no regards.
Mm-hmm.
And,
And it starts at home. Just like
Mhm.
you said, it starts at the
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I had uncle. Oh my God. My aunts and uncles, I mean, after your parents make you leave the house, now you gotta go to church and you gotta put up with your aunts. And you know, that's how I used to look at it. Now I gotta go to church. I gotta listen to my aunts and my uncle tell me how to behave in church. You know, you're sitting there and my aunt used to say, come sit right here, boy. You know, and you sit there, you know, and even you couldn't even take a nap. Or you get pinched, you know, and they knew how to pinch you. You know, they squeeze like that, you wake up and you dare not go back to sleep. You know, and it was just so much, you know, that we knew back in the day. We took God with us. I mean, along the way,
Mhm.
I mean, as we grew up, we lost, even then, we lost some of the things because we had to endure what was going on. And our attention went to that, and especially when we were young. You know, our attention, we gotta survive. My mother got these kids, you know, she gotta do this and she can't, you know, and but we knew in our heart, to always say our prayers at night.
Mhm.
That was the main thing. My aunt used to come to the door and say, everybody say their prayer, and you better say your prayer.
Mhm.
You know, but these kids today, I even ask some of the grown folks I know, you know, when you say prayer, you know, they don't know nothing about that.
You know.
But I just give thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I just give thanks that I got God in my life, you know.
And definitely. You know, one of the things you said that made me think about Sister Strader, and when her two granddaughters were small, and they would come to visit, and those two young ladies would sit there next to Aretha, and I would just watch, because you know I knew Aretha's mother, and I saw the handing down of the disciplinary actions through her to the granddaughters. And I would sit there, I mean, they knew when they walked in, they would sit right next to her and would not move, would not go to sleep. Now, we might think it was harsh, but that was a teaching element, you know, and that's what those of us who were my age went through back then. And when you came to church, church was serious business.
Yeah.
You know, and when you teach or you imply that with your kids, when they are small, then they don't forget. And even now when they come to visit, I just watching them, this is polite, how you doing, fine? They'll sit right there and they will be attentive. They will listen. You know, and I say now, look at what they do and then look at us as adults. You know, we come in, we will sit there, we're not attentive. We got our phones and we're texting and we're, you know, doing everything. We got video games we play. No, when you come in here, our full attention should be on God. You know, and that has to be taught, and that has to be reinforced. So I thank her for the reinforcement, because when they come to visit Grandma in South Florida, they know. They know, you know, hey, for 2 weeks or whatever we got down here, it's going to be like this. Yeah. Now, when they get back home, I don't know what happens with Polly when they get back home. But I know that when they're down here, that's what Grandma does. And that's something that was, you know, that was a deal. I mean, there was no getting around that when we were small. I know Brother Joe and I always say one of the problems is that man has gotten further and further away from God.
Yeah, yeah.
Consequently, these issues and problems that we see are a derivative of the fact that we no longer fear God.
Yeah.
You know, we no longer, you know, we say we fear God, but do we really fear God? You know, and you say, well, how do you know we don't fear God? Look around.
See, a lot of them don't even know what fear God is. See, I went through that too. You get to the point where you hear people say, fear God, fear God. And for the longest, I used to think in my mind, I gotta be afraid. You know, but afraid of what? I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but, you know, as you go along the way, you find out that the fear of God is to love God.
Mm-hmm.
It don't mean you gotta be scared, you know?
Yeah, Joe.
Excuse me. I'm from old school too now, you know, but what's lost in the world in which we live today is people confuse fear with respect. Fear is really reverence for God.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And today, there's no reverence for God and our parents or anything. And like everybody said, everything starts in the house. When I came along, everybody, parents, could discipline our children. Our school teachers, everywhere we went, there was reverence and respect for grown-ups, like the young lady said. And I was young and grown people were coming together. The children, we respected them. Yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and yes, sir. I'm 79 years old now, and I still respect older people and younger people too.
Amen.
You know, sometimes I say, like when I visit different states, what amazed me so much, you can go, and I was born here in Miami, and you can just go one state of Georgia, say, and you go to all these different places. When you walk in, the young people, when they speak to you, they speak to you with respect. They say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am to you. You don't get that here in Miami. There's no more reverence and respect.